Bear with me. This episode is going to sound a little bit different from some of the previous episodes. I'm speaking a lot faster. There's a lot of and well, only because this is a little sample recording from a recent live Q&A session inside my private membership community, the Creative Marketing Membership. And I wanted to share this with my audience here on the podcast because I think it resonated very well with the members who were on this particular call. And the question that came up for this session, you'll hear in this little snippet, I'm pretty passionate about it. And so I thought, take my own advice. I'm always talking about repurposing content. How can we stop always trying to reinvent the wheel and churn out everything fresh, when we can look at the value that we already have? So I'm taking my own advice and I'm repurposing just a little snippet for you today so that hopefully you can be inspired and take this information and see where it fits into your daily strategy, your business, and of course, your life. So as I mentioned, it's a lot of ums. I speak really fast, but I hope that the information is still valuable. I won't apologize for it because if you've been following along on Instagram or you're a member inside the community, you know when I'm passionate about something, I'm just gonna go off. So I hope that you enjoy this episode, and I'll preface it by the question that was asked, and that really led to my whole, I call it the TED Talk because I was rambling. But I think that there is some value here. So the question that came in, because members can submit questions before the Q&A, or they can just show up, and I always have something usually prepared of, what's going on in terms of social media, business marketing, some strategies to make sure that everybody feels supported. So during that conversation, the question that came up from one of our members was how to prioritize where you show up. And so you're going to hear my thoughts on that. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Hey, I'm Angela Doyon, and this is the Creative Marketing Show, the podcast for ambitious women in business looking to cut the BS, stop dancing for likes, and learn to create honest and genuine marketing strategies that don't cause burnout and overwhelm. Think of me as one of your friends that's here to support you and cheer you on while keeping you up to date with all the latest marketing trends and inspired actions you can start to implement into your business. Let's dive into a new episode. To answer that, it's going to be different for everyone. My biggest fear for everyone here, any small business, where feeling like hours and hours of creating content and putting it out there and hoping something sticks and hoping people see it and hoping people save it and hoping that they share it, all of that. That is very intentional of having better systems. So first on that note, understanding where our ideal audience is hanging out is definitely a priority, because that if you understand, okay, well, I know if it's Facebook, okay, if it's Instagram, if it's Pinterest, wherever that is, I like the idea of there's value in having omnipresence. So having an Instagram account, having a Facebook page, having a TikTok account, all of that. I have all of mine registered. I am not I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I prioritize one social media platform. And this is just my suggestion because, again, this is where we start to lose hours. And those hours could be actually serving our customers or creating better strategies in place where it's more seamless. So I like to focus really on one social media platform. For myself, that's Instagram. A lot of what I do is very visual. I know a lot of small businesses utilize Instagram, so it falls under exactly who I want to serve. I can visually show creative marketing stuff. I can show up and chat about it. So I've made Instagram my priority. Again, every call to action and everything using Instagram, not to run my business, but to filter people over to my email list. Everything is always, that's the goal. So having that is being very intentional, where it's okay to ask someone to like this or comment below and tell me this. That's okay. But more often than not, all the stuff you share on your social media, so if it is Instagram, always have that thought of how can I is this going to help someone potentially land over on my website or join the list? So that's what I like to really focus on and teach, because that's where that value is. So I use Instagram. That's the hub. I usually map out, I aim for 3 to 5 posts a week. And I'll be the first to say, if I don't feel like it, I don't post, because it's inauthentic. And the thing I hear all the time is people talking about, oh, the algorithm changed again, and I don't know what's going on with my engagement, and we don't have control over it. And I know that there is a lot of accounts out there that are like, here's how we get more of this, and how to get to this. And if you want to grow, here's how I did it in 30 days. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sure they're very lovely people, but at the end of the day, it's kind of bullshit. And there's a lot of empty promises. And I'm not trying to knock anybody specifically. There's just a lot of noise. And when you're told like, you have to have this many followers or grow here and this and that, it starts to become, to me, it's a mental health issue, because it's overwhelming. And then it's false hope and promises. And then we feel like we're failing. I want you to measure your success of, are you making sales? Are you connecting with the right people? Are you getting bookings? Like having those measurabilities. Back to your question though. So using it as it's a tool. That's all it is. It's just one tool. We should not be spending more time on a tool than we are in our own business and what we have outside of that. So after Instagram, my first priority is building my email list. But Instagram falls into that because that's where I'm targeting and hoping to find people, showing them, who I am, some resources I have, onboarding. That's how I'm going to be using Pinterest more this year as a way to start to onboard people. So like, here's a free guide, come to my email list. Here's a 5-day challenge, come over on my email list. That's the intention. It's not, oh my gosh, I got 10,000 followers. Nobody gives a shit how many followers you have, because that does not translate to money in the bank. And I'm sorry, I'll be honest, like we're trying to hear, yes, we want to serve, we want to help people, we want to love what we do. And we're also trying to feed our families and have new pants. Like, the reality. So what I find has been working for me, and I can only speak personally, is every Monday, like I map out my week, what's on the go. I don't call it my to-do list. I call it my on the go. And I have one kind of master of like, this is all the stuff. And then each week I just segment it because it's overwhelming otherwise. And I usually start with, what are 3 things I can talk about this week? So using Google, like what are things people are looking for? What are some questions? Sometimes you guys might notice, like in my email newsletter, I'll use a topic that we've talked about here. Because I'm like, well, if this is coming here, that's great. I'm going to go talk about that in my email newsletter, because they might be like, okay, I want in on this membership because I'm trying to grow my membership. I'm going to be transparent. It's a business. So not overthinking. And that is also where the time we spend consuming, it's overwhelming. It's like that social influence. Then we start to think, well, how can I do it like that? I'm all about getting creative with like the carousels. Don't get me wrong, because that's fun. Let's get creative. Like, let's make it fun. But when it starts to feel like exhausting, and like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, pause, because you know what to say, because it's your business. Someone said to you, what could you talk about for 5 minutes? Like, go, what is it? I'm sure you could find something. You could do that. So you. So that's where here, I'm hoping that I can give you some ideas to like kind of inspire and find, but know that if you're not feeling it and you didn't post in the last 2 or 3 days, your business is not going to crumble. I'm going to tell you that. As long as you have good foundation in place, so your website, and understanding that you have an audience that you can continue to serve. Sometimes we get a little bit too focused on onboarding a lot of new audience, where if you look at your list right now, you have an audience. Like, start there and serve them. Think of them as actual people, like on a screen, and like speak to them. Be proud of what you have to offer. And then sorry, I'm totally rambling, but I think the thing that I'm really passionate about this year, because I see people getting so frustrated when it comes to social, where there's this pressure that came from, I don't know where, I guess the social influence, where if we can just kind of create, and it's like, this is what I have going on. I want to put it out there and know that it's going to really expire in a day or two, because that's how much it turns out. So in a marketing strategy, how can we leverage a tool, but ultimately, like I use that dating analogy, Instagram's like swipe left, swipe right. You want it, you don't. Okay. They click on your link in bio. Oh, we're having coffee. This is nice. They get on your email list. They join your program. They purchase from you. They work with you. They buy your products. Now you're dating. Wow. You've created a relationship. That should be the focus. So still serving your audience, but in a way that it's not going to cause burnout, but any big hours allocated, I think, should be on what your offering is. So bringing that value to the people who have purchased from you. If you have customers, and if you're like, shit, you know what? I haven't actually reached out to my customers and sent like an email of just, hey, thank you for purchasing from me. Maybe asking for a review or offering an incentive of like, we have those audience people who we have worked with before. You can check in on them. Like nurturing that is way more important than just trying to show up on Instagram like, I hope they like me. I hope. All right, I'm going to pause it there. That was a little sneak peek at, behind the curtain of the Q&A inside the Creative Marketing Membership. And speaking of hope, I do hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you're curious about the membership, or you're looking for a little bit more support in your business, making, solopreneurship feel less lonely, you are absolutely welcome to join the membership. It is a small nominal monthly fee. That is intentional because I want to make sure that people feel they can invest in it, get value without breaking the bank. You can check the show notes for how to join or visit me online, www. Oh my gosh, did I just say www? Okay, AngelaSDoyon.com. Again, I'll leave that link in the show notes. I encourage you, if you want to join us, there is no commitment. You can come and go, but I do suggest, give it some time because there's a lot of fun things that are happening, including some upcoming bonus tutorials that are going to provide more value and more strategy for you in your business. And lastly, I want to thank you for tuning in to the podcast each and every week. I appreciate it. It's a platform that I love showing up to. And so far, it seems like many of you enjoy it as well. I'm going to read a recent review that was shared. I absolutely love the Creative Marketing Show podcast. The show has a perfect blend of information, content, and entertainment value. Angela's authentic and engaging approach makes it feel like you're having a conversation with a friend. I highly recommend this podcast to anyone looking to up their marketing game. Thank you so much, Likey Shop. I appreciate the feedback. And if you'd like to leave your review, I will read it on the show because I love sharing what people are saying. I hope that this is connecting and resonating with you. And if so, I'd love to hear. You can head over to Apple Podcasts, find Creative Marketing Show. When you scroll down, you'll see the ratings and review, and I'd love to hear what you think. Otherwise, next Wednesday, a new episode will be coming out. Thank you again for tuning in and enjoy your week.